Hi, I'm Nick Ross for iTWire, and today we're with Barracuda. Who are you? What's your role, and what's your remit, please?
Yeah, hi Nick. My name is Paul Crighton. My role is running ANZ for Barracuda. I've been here for, I think about 7 months now. And before that, a few people probably met me around the tracks. I was managing director of NetApp, but I've been in Australia for 23 years. And this is home.
And for those who don't know, and you have been established for a while, how did Barracuda first come about, and why would potential customers want to work with you?
Yeah, Barracuda, 20 years old this year, actually. And way back when, I was at Symantec at the time, 20 years ago, showing my age. But I remember seeing Barracuda come on the scene, and very much just a spam filter. They've come an awfully long way in 20 years. They were taken private by Thoma Bravo, that you may or may not know. And it's public domain. They were taken private, I think, for about 1.4 billion. And then 4 years later, they've recently sold to KKR. And Thoma Bravo are all about efficiency and EBITDA, and KKR are all about accelerated growth. So, 8 months ago, KKR took us on board, and we are accelerating growth around the world, which is with a bit of fun, especially around the development in the whole platform. The second part of your question, the way I would answer that is Barracuda, whilst we do have enterprise customers, they're very much distributed architectures, retail, manufacturing, and the like. We are proudly, I say to my team, we're a tier one mid-market player. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important to a lot of our customers in mid-market at the moment because there's a huge skills gap in the market, massively so. And all the enterprise end of town are probably sucking up a lot of that cyber skill set. And so when I speak to the customers, the complexity of their environment that they've procured over the last few years means that they can't manage the vendors they have. They need one throat to choke from support, or better still, they need one hand to shake. And so those things are really, really important. And we do that. So with the simplicity, the breadth of our platform, the brilliance, quite frankly, of our support enables the mid-market to really focus on their core business. Long answer. Hope that's okay.
Oh, that's perfect. And what do you make of the rise of all the security breaches that we've been seeing in recent times?
Oh, I'm not sure it's recent times, actually, Nick. Like I said, showing my age, 20 years ago, I was at Symantec, and same was true then. It was just the macro virus then, and now it's obviously ransomware attacks and the like. I think it's just because it's all monetized now. Internet, whilst it's been used for good, it's been used for evil in the nature of things. You know, it's very profitable. Everybody will talk about AI on the good side. We have AI built into our technology, as or pretty much any top tier security vendor does. But on the bad side, obviously the bad actors can use AI. And so, yeah, it's very profitable. The technology is evolving, and it's a never-ending battle.
And what other key strategies organizations can implement to reduce human error and improve security nowadays?
Yeah, human error has been around forever, and it will probably be around forever. I saw an article the other day, and it was QUT. They did research, and they said 25% of people, when they buy new devices, case in point, they don't read the manual. It's human nature not to read manuals. It's human nature when you roll out security, exactly when you roll out. I'm gonna plead the fifth on whether I read the manual or not. But when it comes to security procedures and policies, it's human nature not to follow those either. So what can you do? Well, yeah, another example of something that blew me away recently. It was an aha moment. I was going to China, and I went all the way to China, all the way back. Didn't have to enter one password in anywhere. Now, we know passports are very complex, and we know they spend a lot of money to do that. But the principle is pretty significant. If you can leave countries and enter countries without a password, why are we still insisting on pushing out passwords to the masses and expecting them to go against human behavior and actually update them, and et cetera, and have complex first-time passwords almost?
So what's a passwordless future look like?
What does it look like? Well, I think there's 4 technologies that I would strongly suggest that people can implement to remove a lot of the human error. I think then there's one strategy that close to my heart is really the mid-market, where they have a security gap and things they can do there. The 4 would be get rid of VPNs. We have the technology for zero trust network access, irrespective of which vendor. Lots of vendors can do it. Get rid of VPNs. Second one is multi-factor authentication. It's dead simple. It's something like your PIN number. It's something you have, like your iPhone, and it's something you are, like your fingerprint or facial recognition, etc., etc. So that needs to be implemented. What's scary about that, though, is that last stat I read was 49% of corporates say we've implemented and enforced multi-factor authentication. But when they went out and asked the consumers, only 19% said their companies were actually implementing it. So I think there's a huge opportunity there. Passwords, trade it out, holus bolus for biometrics. The China example for me proves it can be done. We just need to get it done. Security awareness training, clearly. I mean, it's an evolving landscape. We need to spend as much time trying to help our people not make mistakes. So those are just, for me, they're technical, tactical steps. But I mentioned earlier that we're proudly at Barracuda a tier one, I believe, tier one vendor in mid-market. Now, I've been here 7 months. I've met probably 100 customers, and everyone, the conversation goes the same way. They've lived in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for a long time, and they've gone out and they've bought best of breed. So they bought a Paolo, they bought a Fortinet, they bought an Imperva, I can reel them all off. When I draw that up on the board for them, I then say, that's pretty complex. How do you manage that? Who do you call for support for that? How do you even negotiate commercials for that? Do you even believe you're getting the best value out of that multitude of stack that you've now got? And by the way, how many people do you have? Because there is a massive skill shortage right now around the world, and particularly in Australia. And the answer is, very quickly, they're looking at it and going, I don't know. I can't get the staff. I'm not using the technology. I'm not getting the support I want. The commercials are a nightmare. I've got one person doing full-time on all those contracts. So the beautiful thing, I think, for mid-market to focus on, and it was something we talked about a long time ago, top end of town, go your best of breed. You've got loads of security people. You can manage all of that infrastructure. You can correlate across different stack. Mid-market, one throat to choke, one hand to shake. Barracuda, amongst others, have a broad platform, very simple to use technology that can allow you to get back to your core business. So I think if you do the four things, if you can do them with 4 different vendors, if you like, or you do the one thing, which is look at vendor rationalization in the mid-market where you have a huge security shortfall, as in people.
Yeah. Microsoft recently announced a $5 billion investment in cloud computing in Australia. What do you see the impacts of that being?
Well, firstly, I think bloody marvelous, wasn't it? Really, I mean, we should. I think we all read the headline, 5 billion, 2 years, and thought, wow, that's really significant, and it is great. I've had a lot of dealings with Microsoft at NetApp, and here we do an awful lot of things with them. I think when you peel back and have a little look, or peel back the onion, or look under the covers, you'll see it's significant. It's a 2-year investment. And a lot of that money is expanding their compute platform. I think it's good. AI and compute will grow. Their capacity will be increased by 250%. Shows you the speed at which the market's growing, I guess. They took their data centers from 20 to 29 just to get better touch in the Australian market. They formed an alliance with the ASD, Australian Signals Directorate. And so they formed Microsoft and ASD Cyber Shield. And that's good. But what's significant, and I liked about it, was they're investing in a data center academy where they're going to try and take 300,000 Australians and make them far more comfortable and fluent. Well, fluent-ish, I would suggest, because it's complex in the AI and cloud world. And I really like that. I mean, good on them. Now, that won't address the skill shortage, but it'll enable us all to get a lot smarter when it comes to the world we live in. So I thought all that was really, really good, to be honest. And I think from Barracuda perspective, we're 100% cloud, AWS and Microsoft, our platforms are there. We engage with them. We protect that environment like a lot of other providers do as well. And so we've got a great relationship with them, sort of frenemies as well in some regards. But I meet with them quarterly, both hyperscalers. And I think good on them overall. I think it's a great initiative.
What do you make of Australia's local threat landscape and some of the trends that you're seeing in the research you guys are doing?
Yeah, I mean, there's most of it is similar to the rest of the world, but we do have, I mean, we've been around 20 years, 200,000 customers, etc. We are seeing some stuff in Australia. 74% of Australian companies right now, when they're surveyed, have experienced an email security breach. It's not quite high, it's ridiculously high, isn't it? And with the most expensive, it's costing them about over $1 million just to restore and recover. Business disruption, I think 42% of customers are saying they're disrupted from a productivity and a downtime perspective, and 36% is loss of data, of confidential data. So that's just Australia. The one thing that struck out, it's a bit unique about Australia, is that of the 5 major international markets out there, Australia is most attacked and at risk with advanced malware and zero-day attacks. So the more advanced the attack, it seems to be we're getting smashed a little bit more in that area.
Potentially boring question, just and you can guess what's coming, is how's Barracuda going to be using AI, and how's it using it already?
Well, yeah, well, I think everybody's had a crack at that, haven't they? Yeah. Look, AI is everywhere. It's in all of our engines. It speeds up our detection and response. It's in all of the clouds, all of the hyperscalers, and increasingly we're going to do weird and wonderful things with it. I think it's superseded, or certainly taken front spot away from RPA and other automated processes. I just think it's wonderful, it's exciting, and we're not even scratching the surface of it. But then the downside is neither are the bad guys. We can use it, all of us can use it for good. Unfortunately, it can also be used for evil, and we've got to be on our toes at all times, I would say.
And what are your research and development teams working on at the moment?
Yeah, what we're doing predominantly, I mean, obviously there's AI and building that into everything we pretty much do. But a lot of what we're doing is really it's the platform play, but it's 2 elements of it. We're also our entire platform across application security, network security, email security, education, it's all fully multi-tenanted, because what we're also seeing is we're seeing half the partner landscape moving to go away from traditional sell-through product to becoming MSSPs and offering everything as a service. Back to the point I mentioned earlier, if the majority of the customers can't manage their environment, they're either going to consolidate to a vendor rationalization play, or they're going to go to somebody else, a third party to manage. So we could talk about that at length. It's something I'd love to spend more time with you on. But I have seen, example, I had a year and a half ago, 500 partners in Australia. I now have 2 sell-through, traditional resellers. I now have 280 traditional resellers, and over 300 are now classed as MSP/hybrid MSSP. Hybrid meaning they sell a service and they also traditionally sell product. So that's a huge shift in the market in general. It's pretty exciting, I think.
And how do you see the next 12 months unfolding?
For us, locally in Australia, we're seeing, when I mirror the opportunity in Australia from a Barracuda perspective to what it is in the UK, we should have 4 times market share. I've scaled the team locally. We're now servicing our customers better than we ever have in our channel. And what we're seeing is that the value we bring to them, and this one throat to choke, one hand to shake, is resonating really, 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 really well. So I'm happy because we're looking after our customers, and I'm excited to see what that does for Barracuda. I think in general, from a security standpoint, it's a never-ending learning curve and a never-ending battle, and I think it's never going to change.
Can I just ask you to expand on that? You said it a few times. So what's it? One hand to, was it shake and one to choke?
I heard it. It was with a couple of customers, and I talked about when I discover their infrastructure. I just asked them who they're using. They draw it up on the board, and they went to the Gartner's quadrant because they wanted to look. They classed themselves an enterprise, even though they're probably not that big, and they built this massive infrastructure. And then I'd say, who do you call for support? How do you even call them when there's an issue? You've got 7 different support lines to call. I said, and then if it's cross technology, how do you then get them to collaborate and communicate? And so the one throat to choke is saying, we deliver world-class, and my customers tell me that, support, and we are the one-stop shop, either us or our MSSP partners. So that's the one throat to choke, but it's always a bit contentious when you say that. So then another partner said to me, what about one hand to shake? And then that got me thinking about the commercial elements when I speak to them, because how do you even manage 6 different vendors, or 7 or 8 or 10, and the commercial reality of that? If it's a service, I get it, because it's an annuity-based revenue stream. But if it's buying traditional software, so you've one throat to choke, being really great at supporting our customers. One hand to shake is saying we can pretty much deal with all that commercial nightmare that you have.
Okay, and so you've gone across it quite a bit already, but just to put it in one place, how can potential partners work with you? Direct sales, or just channel only, or what?
Oh no, it's a good question. I'm proud to inherit this ability to say that we're 100% channel. We've never done a direct deal in our life, and we never will. I've been in vendor land for an awfully long time, and so I know that's not always something you can say. Give me a call. Give me a call. I've got 3 OCMs, channel managers that cover Australia, that can look after partners, whether they want to build an annuity-based revenue stream. We can do that tomorrow across all of our technology, or whether they want to sell through, we can do that too. So reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. And while you've got the ear of iTWire's B2B audience, is there anything else you'd like to add?
God, that's a good broad question.
We've been very thorough, to be fair. You can be the first person to say no on that, and I don't think anyone would.
I purely selfishly, I think I have a wonderful team. I'm enjoying Australia. Reach out to us. We'd love to delight you and meet you, and hopefully help.
All right, Paul Crighton, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Nick. Thanks for your time.